Welcome to the first lecture in the decision-making series. The first lecture covers System 1 and System 2 thinking. What do you think a rational decision-making process looks like? Please pause the video and write down an answer yourself first. The rational decision-making process consists of 6 steps. 1. Define the problem. 2. Identify the criteria. 3. Weigh the criteria. 4. Generate alternatives. 5. Rate each alternative on each criterion. And 6. Compute the optimal decision. Let's actually illustrate this. First, we have to define the problem. Let's say our problem is that we want to select a car to buy, a car that is right for us. In the second step, we would identify our criteria. Which criteria are most important to us when owning and using a car? Let's assume our criteria ranked from most important to least important are fuel economy, cost, and comfort. In the third step of the rational decision-making process, we weigh the criteria. Let's say we give fuel economy an importance of 10 points, cost an importance of 8 points, and comfort an importance of 6 points. In the fourth step of the rational decision-making process, we have to generate alternatives. That really means we would have to research all of the available cars, as they are our alternatives. In step 5, we have to rate the alternatives on our criteria. So we would have to score each car in terms of how the car performs on our criteria identified in step 2. For example, we might decide that car XYZ should receive a 6 out of 10 for fuel economy, an 8 out of 10 for cost, and a 4 out of 10 for comfort. Finally, in step 6, we compute the optimal decision. We multiply the ratings given in step 5 by the weights we decided upon in step 3 in order to find out which car would be the optimal choice for us. We have to multiply the fuel economy score of 6 out of 10 for car XYZ with the importance rating of 10 points for fuel economy. We do the same for cost and comfort. Finally, we add those values together to end with a score of 132 for car XYZ. The next thing I want you to do is to quickly answer the following question. Once I show you the question, you might want to pause the video to spend 5 seconds thinking about the question. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? When you are thinking quickly, the tendency of most people is to answer C, 10 cents. However, if the ball costs 10 cents and the bat costs $1 more than the ball, the bat would cost $1.10 and the total would be $1.20. The correct answer is D, 5 cents. If the ball costs 5 cents, the bat costs $1.05 and the total is $1.10. Okay, let's do another one. The goal is to answer very quickly. Once I show you the question, you might want to pause the video to spend 5 seconds thinking about the question. If it takes 5 machines 5 minutes to make 5 widgets, how long would it take 100 machines to make 100 widgets? The tendency is to answer D, 100 minutes. The correct answer is B. If it takes 5 machines 5 minutes to make 5 widgets, then 100 machines would also only need 5 minutes to make 100 widgets. Let's do another one. The goal is again to answer very quickly. Lucy's mother has 5 children. They are March, May, July, September, and... The correct answer is Lucy. Let's do another one. Remember, the goal is to answer very quickly. In a lake, there is a patch of lily pads. Every day, the patch doubles in size. If it takes 48 days for the patch to cover the entire lake, how long would it take for the patch to cover half of the lake? The most common answer is 24 days. The correct answer is 47 days. The reason why we looked at these examples is to illustrate the difference between System 1 and System 2 thinking. Please pause the video lecture and think about what System 1 and System 2 thinking might be and how they are different from each other. System 1 is intuitive. It is your first system of thinking to be activated. It is fast, automatic, effortless, implicit, and emotional. Can you think of examples of this kind of thinking? Please pause the video lecture to think about this. An example of System 1 thinking would be a situation in which a pencil is rolling off your desk, and you automatically and effortlessly try to grab it. System 2 thinking is rational. It is much slower, conscious, effortful, explicit, and logical. Can you think of examples of this kind of thinking? Please pause the video lecture to think about this. Hopefully, when you do an exam, you are using System 2 thinking. You can distinguish between System 1 and System 2 thinking by remembering that System 1 is the first system to be activated. It would be quite impractical to have to reason through every choice we make, which is why we benefit tremendously from System 1 thinking. In fact, we make most decisions in life using System 1 thinking. For example, interpretation of verbal language or visual information is usually automatic and unconscious. Or imagine that you would have to think through every step you take. However, we would hope that System 2 thinking would dominate important life decisions such as marriage and education. The major disadvantage of System 1 thinking is that it is prone to errors, as we illustrated with the earlier questions you had to answer quickly, therefore using System 1 thinking. Even the very brightest of people make errors when they use System 1 thinking. In the case of business managers, we would hope that they would be able to identify situations in which they should move from System 1 to System 2 thinking. For example, when someone is interviewing a potential employee, the employee's qualifications should be more important than whether or not you like the person at first sight. The major shortcoming of System 1 thinking is its proneness to errors. But System 2 thinking has flaws of itself. What flaws do you think System 2 thinking has? Please pause the video lecture and answer for yourself. It is not always feasible to execute System 2 thinking fully. Remember when we talked about the rational decision-making process to pick the most optimal car? Who in real life researches all cars and rates them according to criteria? Probably nobody. And who in this classroom evaluated every school within commutable distance before committing? Most likely nobody. So to fully execute this methodology of System 2 thinking is simply unfeasible. Herbert Simon, who won the 1978 Nobel Prize for Economy, coined the term bounded rationality. Bounded rationality is an important concept which indicates that our time and cost constraints limit the quantity and quality of available information. In addition, decision makers can retain only a relatively small amount of information in their usable memory at the same time. In addition, there are also limitations to our intelligence. So the fact that we have limited time, limited memory, and limited intelligence means that we have to satisfy, which means we have to find a satisfactory solution rather than an optimal one, because indeed, the rational decision-making process is hard to implement. This concludes the first lecture in the decision-making lecture series.